Hey guys, Jackdaw here. Damn, have we just received a huge piece of news relating to Dragon Age 4's future narrative and potential inspiration that seemingly everyone and their broodmother has just overlooked. Like seriously. Jumping straight into this like stabbing Anders in the back because I lack any kind of empathy and mercy for him. This news came to us on Twitter while Patrick Weeks was on a late flight arriving at Denver Airport last week. Hashtag Freemason Conspiracy Airport. Good old Patrick hit Twitter up with an Ask Me Anything thread, and after he boarded the flight there was a missed opportunity because he remarked that it was a shame no one asked him about the next Dragon Age game. Maybe if I wasn't in a 7 hours ahead time zone I would have hit upon this, but hindsight is a beautiful thing. However, it's okay because we did actually get something literally at the same time. As Patrick Weeks tweeted that, Mark Dara hit up Twitter with an 80k follower post. After Dara was prompted to mention the next Dragon Age game for more followers on Twitter, he came up with this savvy statement. Quote, "I will say this, we have a plot with the working title of Tevinter of our Discontent. Ellipsis, ellipsis, who am I kidding? We'll probably ship that." End quote. This working title is a huge Shakespearean reference that's completely gone unnoticed. It's a huge, gigantic tease for the foundations and inspiration of Dragon Age 4's narrative. Now bear with me for this, but since the very creation of Dragon Age, David Gader, the original creator and writer, has always wrote the narrative with inspiration based on traditional British history, literature and folklore. For instance, as Saria mentions in her second episode of her Mafal series, which you should totally check out, the Celtic tale, Four Branches of the Mabinogi, is one of the very foundations of Flemeth's backstory. However, the story itself descends from traditional medieval British/Welsh literature. So from the very start of Dragon Age's writing days, it's always had a foundation of real-life British literature and influence. And at least according to British literature, as far as that goes, who is better to influence and base any future Dragon Age narrative on than the bard himself, good old Shakespeare. You see, Tevinter of our Discontent is a double entendre for Winter of our Discontent, a line from Shakespeare in the play Richard III, and it's also a shared title of a book by John Steinbeck. Now this is the time where you bear with me. I'm going to completely ransack and delve into what this entendre could refer to regarding the next plot for Dragon Age 4, so sit tight, the show must go on. So in a sentence and without context, what's the meaning of the phrase "now is the winter of our discontent"? Well, it simply expresses the idea that we have reached the depths of our unhappiness and that better times are ahead. So what's the origin of the phrase "now is the winter of our discontent"? Well, they're the opening words to the play Richard III, and they lay the groundwork for the portrait of Richard as a discontented man who is unhappy in a world that hates him. A segment of the soliloquy is as followed: "Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of York, and all of the clouds that layered upon our house in the deep blossom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures." That's just a sneak peek. Later, Shakespeare goes on to describe Richard as a deformed, unfinished, sent before his time into this breathing world, scarce half made up. He says that as Richard cannot prove a lover, he is determined to be a villain. So there's plenty to go on there, but what is the actual meaning of the phrase? Well, simply the phrase is a metaphor in which Richard uses winter and summer to suggest that the reign of King Edward IV has turned sadness, which is like winter, into celebration like summer. Richard tells the audience about sufferings of his family during a series of civil wars, the War of Roses, and presents a comparison of horrible times to wander clouds over the House of York during dark winter months. However, now his elder brother has become the king of the country, the reason of the prevalent peace. This is like a glorious summer, which is replaced with the sad winter. Within this soliloquy, winter is a metaphor for sadness and depression. Now that winter has come to an end, summer has replaced it. This represents the death of their sadness and onward to a happier time in the royal family's eyes. Since it simply represents the end to oppression and sadness, we can find its usage in any area of life. For instance, a king or ruler of the country may be using it after regaining his family throne from enemies or an eldest member of a clan may use it after regaining the lost name of his family. So now is the winter of our discontent. Let's apply all of this representation and meaning that I've delved into, relating it to the next Dragon Age narrative and plot. And all I can think about is Solas's entire motivation for attempting to destroy the Veil. Richard III speaks on a derived period, a sad winter that is sluggishly passed, not only for him but his entire family. However, Richard is rejoiced ever since his elder brother has taken over the throne. Not only for himself but his entire family are rejoicing. They're incredibly excited about the times ahead. Once there was a period of sadness, and now there's a glimmer of hope and happiness for the royal family. Correlating this to Dragon Age 4, Solas is currently stumbling his way through modern day Thedas, pretty desperately attempting to somehow destroy the Veil. He's unhappy, he's deprived, and frankly I would say he's probably depressed of how the way things are currently going in this reality. However, he's trying to change that, and God's willing he will. With Tevinter of our Discontent being the working title, perhaps a long rejoicing summer is due for Solas and his people. Something to largely take note is that this play is subjected towards these characters and their feelings of the current event. It's a matter of perspective for the royal family, and in these current circumstances, Richard III is happy that his elder brother is taking over the throne. What this play doesn't tell us is how the rest of the British people think about the coronation of this new king. Of course, the royal family are happy about it. It's their brother, their son, taking over the throne. But what about the rest of the people? This fits perfectly for Dragon Age 4, because in Solas's eyes, the destruction of the Veil is everything to him. A complete refresh for the Elven people. A chance of redemption and hope for what Solas has originally schemed with the creation of the Veil. It's an attempt for him to reclaim the past glories and his pride. However, what we know is that just because Solas wants the Veil to be destroyed doesn't bloody mean the rest of Thedas does. So now is the winter of our discontent is a matter of perspective and subjectivity. The fact that BioWare are inspired by Shakespeare and his work only means one thing for Dragon Age 4 truly, and that's pure heartbroken tragedy. So it'll certainly be interesting to see what plot avenues Dragon Age 4 takes us, especially with this plot reference in mind and what it could correlate to with a future narrative of the next game. But alas, to be or not to be, if you see this meaning taken in a different approach, a different manner within a future plot, perhaps you see it with a Tevinter context to do with the Magisterium, or it could be a Novara blood throne. We can take the Shakespearean text of Richard III literally in terms of relating it to a Navaran royal bloodline quest, or we can take them in aspects of what the narrative truly means and take that correlating it to Solas's plotline. It really depends how literal we want to be with this. In any regard, tell me what you're thinking about the winter or the Tevinter of our discontent. How do you feel about Dragon Age 4? How will it play out, this Shakespearean plot reference? In any case, we should expect sheer heartache now that the fact that Shakespeare influence is getting involved. But in regards to a Dragon Age 4 narrative that is being based on Shakespearean works, at least you can somewhat expect a high quality narrative. Shakespeare is at least one of the most influential British writers. His literature is still to this day regarded as some of the best narratives and stories. We're still influenced by him every single day. So heck, if they want to create an unforgettable narrative in Dragon Age 4, at least relating it to Shakespeare, will at least do that some justice. But hey, if we do hear anything else on this or just Dragon Age 4 in general, you're already in the right place for all that news, that sweet content. For all your things BioWare, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, all that jazz, you're already in the right place. Tell me what you're thinking down below. Don't forget to subscribe, check out my blog and my Patreon. But until the next one, I have been Jackdaw and I should go.